Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to Thursday, the 4th of February's literacy lesson. Today we're going to carry on writing our non-chronological report. So you will need your literacy booklet, so you've got the date and the learning objective. And then, as we've been doing the last few days, you write the date in the top right-hand corner and the learning objective to write a non-chronological report on the left, and underneath that, write SPAG. Pause the video while you do this, and then I'll do the SPAG. Right, so our SPAG today, we're going to have another go at expanding a fact, because it's not an easy thing to do, so we're going to have another practice this morning. So as you can see here, I've got two facts together, and I'm going to try and link them and expand them. So, giant tortoises can survive without food and water for 18 months. They break down body fat to make energy and water. So these two are quite closely linked facts this time. So the fact that giant tortoises can survive without food and water, well, that's because they can break down body fat to make energy and water. So let's have a think about how we can write those together. And I think, do you know what, I'm actually thinking maybe we can use a conjunction here. So I'm going to start with, as tortoises are able to break down their body fat to make water and energy, comma, the longest complex sentence ever, they can survive for 18 months without eating or drinking. Okay, now if you were to expand on this fact even further, I know that the reason there aren't many tortoises left is that pirates used to take them on the ships because they used to survive for a long time without eating or drinking, and they used to eat them. So they'd survive for a while. You know, they'd maybe take 5 tortoises, kill one, eat that, that'd take a week, and then they'd kill another one the next week. So they've got 5 weeks worth of food that they wouldn't even have to feed or give water to. So you could expand that even further there, but I'm just going to leave that there for that one. Okay, so you'd write that underneath the SPAG. Obviously you don't need to do that one, that's just the example. So you have got this fact today. So marine iguanas cannot breathe underwater, no girls. They hold their breath for 1 hour or 60 minutes, and it's the only iguana that feeds in the ocean. So pause the video, and underneath your SPAG, underneath your learning objective, underneath the SPAG heading, can you expand and link that fact? Right then, so today we are going to, oh my God, look at that, stands out like a sore thumb, doesn't it? Finish writing our non-chronological report. Yesterday we started and we wrote about, I wrote about the Galapagos penguin. Today I'm going to write about the marine iguana. All right, so whatever you took notes on your second animal, that is the animal that you are going to write about today. So just to remind us, our must, should and could. Our must is to use capital letters and full stops, exclamation or question marks. We must use subheadings to organise our work, otherwise it's going to be a bit chaotic. Adverbs and conjunction openers. Technical vocabulary, explaining facts with your own sentences and extending sentences with conjunctions. So what I need you to do is look at your plan / your notes about your second animal from Tuesday's lesson. So mine's the marine iguana, and I'm going to start off with a little section on physical appearances, so I will be jumping between this and the visualizer. So just going to remind myself of my facts. The males are 4.5 feet in length and can weigh a little more than 3 pounds. Females are smaller and weigh 1 pound and 3 feet. Their skin is blackish and it changes to coppery green and red in males during breeding season. They have a row of spine that covers their entire length of backs, a blunt nose, a flat nose to help them graze on seaweed, and flat tails to help them swim. They swim a little bit like an alligator. Right, so how am I going to start this off? Oh, can't find it. There we go. Right, so I'm just going to delete that. We want a little bit of an introduction opener, don't we? So, no other animal in the Galapagos Islands is as unusual and unique as the marine iguana. Marine iguana. So just a little sentence opener for it, rather than the big long paragraph I did for the Galapagos penguin. So, physical characteristics then. Let's do that head in there. So, now I want to describe what it looks like, really, don't I, rather than now. This reptilian, because it's a reptile, oh no, reptilian creature has black, scaly skin with a row of spikes along its back. Now I'm going to put a little comma here, presumably to deter any sharp toothed, little hyphen there, predators. Full stop. So let's read it. This reptilian creature has black scaly skin with a row of spikes along its back, presumably to deter any sharp-toothed predators. So kind of done those. Now we know that they feed in the sea, so perhaps we could make a comment about that. Oh, no. Goodness me. A comment about that. So I'm going to start with a conjunction. Because they feed in the ocean, comma, they have long, flat tails to help them swim. And I'm going to put in brackets a little bit like an alligator. Actually, no, I'm not, because that's going to change the form. I'm just going to put like an alligator. So because they feed in the ocean, comma, they have long flat tails to help them swim like an alligator, and blunt. Just going to check that again. Blunt noses. Yeah. Blunt noses. So they can easily graze on algae and seaweed. Full stop. Right, so with this one then we've got our conjunction opener. Because they feed in the ocean, they have long flat tails to help them swim like an alligator, and blunt noses so they can easily graze on algae and seaweed. So we've got a lot of expanding on facts there. Right, so now the bit that I haven't mentioned here are the males being bigger and the females being smaller. So typically, I'm going to start with, it might help if I'm on the camera, typically the male marine iguanas are much bigger than the females, and during mating season the male's skin changes to green and coppery red. Full stop. Oh, I'll change that as an exclamation mark. Why not? Yeah, so I haven't mentioned all the things there about the weight and how many feet they measure, but that doesn't matter. I felt that it maybe wouldn't properly work within that paragraph. Right, so the next section I'm going to write is about aquatic adaptations. Okay, so I'll just very quickly write a few sentences for this. I'm not going to write the whole section like physical characteristics. So, aquatic adaptations means how is the iguana changed and adapted to feeding in the sea. Okay, so we know that they sneeze the extra salt out, but a bit more detail there about how that is. So we know that they've got blunt snouts and small razor sharp teeth to help them scrape algae off rocks, and they have a tail that's flattened so that allows them to move like a crocodile through water. Claws are long and sharp for clinging to rocks underwater when there's heavy currents. Dark grey colouring to absorb sunlight. Okay, now there's a reason that they do this. If they absorb the sun, it means they heat up, because when they go into the water they lose a lot of heat because the waters are very cold. And then the last bit, having a special gland that cleans their blood of extra salt which they ingest while feeding. So back to this then. So I'm going to give this a little opener. The marine iguana has many unique adaptations that help it survive. Uniquely, the most fascinating is the special gland which detoxifies, word for you to steal there, its blood and body of excess salt ingested while feeding in the ocean. And then I'm going to put a little extra bit of detail there. If they did not have this, remarkable yet vital gland, then the marine iguanas would have died out long ago, exclamation mark. Okay, so that's the only little bit I'm going to do there. So obviously if they didn't have the gland that gets rid of salt, they would have got salt poisoning and died, so they wouldn't have been able to survive. So a little bit of extra detail there. Now you might include the extra detail from those extra facts that you will read at the end of each one. Okay, just a little example for you what to do there. Right, so after you've done that, you need to do the rest of the, so the rest of the subheadings. So the subheadings for the marine iguana that I haven't written about yet are range and habitat, feeding habits, and then fast facts. Obviously that might differ depending on what animal that you've written about. Okay, and after you've written those, very quickly do your quick editing. So read your non-chronological report out loud, check for writing errors and that everything makes sense. Capital letters at the start of sentences, the names of places and the animals. So Galapagos, definitely capital letter. And then check full stops, exclamation and question marks at the end of sentences. Remember, I'm not looking for a rewrite of all of these facts. I want to see, from our must, should, could, I want to see different sentence openers, adverbs, conjunctions, explaining facts with your own sentences and extending facts with conjunctions as well. Technical vocabulary from the reading that we've read and researched from, and definitely want to see subheadings to organise our work. Okay, I am very looking forward to reading these Year 6. Look forward to those of you who've chosen a different animal than the 4 that I've given to you. And as usual, if you are stuck, email the Year 6 email and we will get back to you as soon as we can, and call or Zoom you if possible. Okay, good luck Year 6 and see you tomorrow.